Jesus Christ, we're having admin problems. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fans TV Friday Night Pint Live. My name's Nicky Hawkins, here with Ryan and Scotty once again. We're feeling good today, as it happens. It's been a while since we've been on here, boys.
I know, it's been a while since all three of us have been together on here.
Yeah, I've been on here for a long time.
I've been on for about 3 weeks.
Might even be longer for me. But welcome along. I see people coming into the chat already. How are we doing? We're feeling good after last night, of course. Listen, the reason why we're late is we're trying to connect it back to the Facebook. So if you're having trouble, there's Facebook comments coming through, so I'm assuming it's connected back up to that. Listen, subjects-wise, we've got quite a few tonight. Jared Bowen, is he our best ever signing? Obviously beating Spurs last night. Is Moyes our best Premier League manager? Which is going to cause a hot debate, I'm sure. And are we doing better than we think we are? Evening, boys. What have you been up to anyway for the last couple of weeks? Where we been?
Been out, been on here, and then we was in Butlins last week, mate.
Yeah. You're right, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to sort this out. Butlins. Yeah, no, that's why I ain't been on the week before. I can't remember why I weren't on. I can't remember, but yeah, I'm glad to be back. Bowen's on fire, beat Spurs. We're going to win the league. We're going to win everything. Moyes is the best thing to happen in the West Ham, and long live Scott Collier.
We're going to get into it, but listen, we go straight into the result last night. Thank you very much. Don't forget to get involved in the comments, of course. We'll go straight into last night. It was a great result, wasn't it? A fantastic result.
Yeah. Me and Scott was talking earlier on the phone, and we both like the first half. Look, Spurs dominated, controlled it, but when you're only losing 1-0 at half time, you've still got a chance. You know we're going to improve, and you know Tottenham ain't going to keep that up all game the way they're knocking it about. Tottenham are a good team to watch. I like the way they knock the ball about. Postecoglou's got on playing some good football, and two things we done well last night. We defended well. Mm-hmm. We kept their best player quiet. And when you do that, you know, you've got a chance. And our bench was awful last night. So we had to rely on our 11 to get us through that or majority of the game. And that's what Moyes done. He didn't make a sub till late. Everyone just worked hard last night. Everyone from the front to the back. Thought Fabianski had a great game, you know, coming in for Areola. Could have done better for the goal. But after that, every cross, every punch, every kick, everything he done right. And I thought I know it sounds mad after watching that first half, but going by the second half, we deserved the win. I know they had more possession, but yeah, no, I thought we definitely deserved the win.
Mate, I'm with you. I thought second half was absolutely brilliant. First half, literally, it got to half time, and I think if the second half starts like this, I'm turning off. Yeah, it was all that first half was one to forget. But as much as it was one to forget, let's be honest, we could have easily gone in 1-0 at half time.
Yeah. Paquetá had that header, didn't he? And like even that would have been against the run of play. You know, we rode our luck. Zuma, when the ball come off of him, it hit the post. They had the chance where they knocked it just over the bar. But as I said, look, when you're only 1-0 down in the Premier League, and especially what Spurs have been doing the last few weeks, I think they've chucked away the most points after being 1-0 up.
I think the stat is they're the first Premier League club ever to go 1-0 up 4 times and end up losing the game.
5 times.
And end up not winning the game.
And the thing is as well, like you look at both of our goals, like there was luck involved, but I said to Scott earlier, Ward-Prowse is so good, he assisted himself. He's fed up assisting other players. He's assisted himself, like 1-2 with a post. And do you know what would have made that even brilliant? Is if Bowen would have pretended he was a goalkeeper and he dived over it.
Yeah, but he would have probably disallowed it for saying like that, man, because he was saying he was getting involved.
Bowen was brilliant last night. Him and Kudus, the way they were switching and just confusing the Spurs defence. And Bowen was brilliant last night. But my man in the match, I said to Scott earlier, was Emerson. Thought he was unreal last night.
Did you see what he was doing last night, though? You know what? And like, this is sort of a new way of playing. You see sort of Klopp and Pep do this, is that they come from that sort of fullback position and flood the midfield. So they go into the centre of that midfield. And some of the runs he made, do you know what? He's been my player of the season, right? I think he's going to be one of them. I know Bowen scored a lot of goals. I know Kudus is going to get a lot of the thingy, but the credit. But like consistency-wise performances, I think Emerson's been excellent this season. I really do. He's my man of the year so far.
I think he's been good for a long time, mate. I think he's been when we first signed him, and I've gone on record by saying this. I thought it was just going to be another one of them players that leaves Chelsea. He's just going to come to West Ham, bit of money. But he seems like he really loves the football club, you know, and he's playing with a smile on his face. And we've struggled for a long time to find a replacement for Creswell, and now we've got the perfect replacement. I just love him. I love his link-up play down the wing. I love his relationship with the players on the pitch. And he's not afraid to take it forward. There was one bit in the first half where he took it through about 4 or 5 of their players, but then he had no one in front of him. That was the only thing that let us down in the first half. What's happened now?
Sorry,
oh, Nicky jumped up in the air. I thought he fell out of the plane. I thought he fell out of the plane. Sorry. I was just so impressed with the second half because we showed a bit of fight, we showed a bit of heart. You know, every play, even Bowen, like working back, putting in the blocks. It's what we needed. And people say, "Oh yes, because you're playing against Tottenham." Look, it doesn't matter. It's a London derby. You know that. I was very surprised. If you said to me, "How are we going to concede a goal against Spurs?" I don't think that. I don't think it was going to be from a corner for a header. I really didn't. But yeah,
the clips broke on the thing. I don't know what's gone on. The clip's broken off.
Oh, I said we're having a bear tonight, aren't we? Absolute bear we're having.
Big shout out to the Spring House in Corringham. Just seen that message come up there. I love it. But yeah, no, look, it was a great result. And we was all frustrated after the Palace game because we should have won that.
Yeah.
But if you'd have said to 99% of the West Ham fans out there, you draw with Palace, beat Spurs, you're going to take that.
Of course
because you want to get one over them, over your London rivals. Don't get me wrong, especially Spurs. And this is the run of 3 London derbies. We've got Fulham on Sunday. So if we can end it with 7 points out of 9, that's a brilliant return.
That's how you got to look at it, mate. I think we were all disappointed in the levels of performance against Palace. You know, I thought overall, I thought we'd probably deserve to win the game, but it was one of them. It's just the levels, and you see that again last night. We didn't hit the levels in that first half. It was sort of like, right, we're going to give you your best chance to try and put this game to bed early, and then we're going to come alive. And you could see Moyes was getting frustrated on the sideline, players not doing things. I didn't feel Kudus looked that comfortable playing in the middle, to be honest. I thought he looked better when him and Bowen switched, and Bowen stayed a bit more central. But I said you just can't fault it. There is something missing in our side. But there's a lot of quality all over that pitch. You know, we were saying earlier, look, Ward-Prowse, most assists in the Premier League. Not most chances created in the Premier League. You know, Jared Bowen, top English goal scorer. You know, these are things. You know, this is out, and this is. You see at half time, like you go through social media and all that, and you see the negativity held towards Moyes, right? And we've had a lot of negativity towards Moyes. We've had a lot of changing opinion towards Moyes. But when you look where we are, right? Look at the second half last night, the quality of the players that we've got in the club, the stats that back Moyes with the win percentages, the back-to-back European competitions we're performing in. Get a point on Thursday against Freiburg. We win that group. That's 3 tops of European groups in 3 seasons. You've got to start giving Moyes a bit of credit. Yes, football can be a bit crap and a bit boring.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. Look, on paper, the stats will back him up. But, you know, some of the performances we have seen, you can understand the frustration. It frustrates us as well. But
Everton, Palace.
Yeah, yes. But, you know, if you're playing bad and winning, you know, it's not a bad thing. I know that this team has got... this team has got so much more to give.
Yeah.
This is probably the best West Ham team on paper that I've seen for a long time. We've got a lot of quality in that team. You know, we are lacking a natural striker. We are lacking that. If we can just get a natural striker into this team with them sort of players around him, you know, I think that, you know, this team is got something about it, definitely.
I think we're lacking. It is the striker we're lacking, but I also think that we've got. And I think this. I'm going to be honest. Like, I think this is through bad man management. I think we've got a lot of players there that are just not interested. They don't want to play for West Ham anymore. They're looking to get at the door. Fornals is one. Ben Rama's one.
Well, Fornals has just had his contract extended, so they
but that's only to protect value. But
Fornals for me, he still comes on and sort of looks like he wants to play. I don't see anyone. I usually look at, when you say things like that, I look at training ground footage, and when I see players that are not getting involved and not joining in with the banter and all that, but everyone's together. So I don't think there's anyone. Obviously, look, you can only start 11 players. You got a squad of 25. There's always going to be players upset. Cornet doesn't get a look in. I don't know why. Maybe he's just not good enough. But I think Fornals for me is a squad player. Wherever Fornals wants to go, if Fornals was to leave in January or the summer, would I be upset? Probably not. As long as we bring in another replacement.
I think there's players there. I think there's a couple of players like in Bournemouth side, even in Luton side, that I think we could probably go, you know, like get Cornet out the door, get Fornals out the door. The left winger that played for Bournemouth for Luton the other night, I forget his name now. He tore Arsenal shreds, but he's got pace, he's got power, he wants to get to the byline. We're missing a player like that because, you know, as much as we've got good players in that team, we're missing pace. That's what we're missing. We're missing a bit of speed. Someone to like that, you know, like what Antonio used to be. You know, that raw, get the ball, punt it up, and run after it, and out muscle everyone. That's what we're missing. We're missing someone like that. Someone like, you know, pull a name out there, Adama Traore. You know, someone like that. Someone with raw speed, raw power, unpredictable. Because I think players like that, you know, they occupy defenders. Like, we are very predictable in a way, you know, and Paquetá's not having a great time on the left. He's not having a great time on the left. I thought he's poor last night. You know, he naturally drifts into the middle, which I understand. He's a natural, you know, centre midfielder. So he's I think he wants to play the number 10. You know, and at the moment, Moyes is pretty much dead set on that Alvarez, Souček, Ward-Prowse partnership. And that's why I do think there's, you know, there's not great man management there, because I think Paqueta can go in there.
You know what we do lack in the centre as well, and I've noticed it for most of this season really, is that we lack someone that wants to get on the ball in the middle and take people on. You know, like when I look, listen, I'm not comparing, I'm not saying we're going to get anyone like him, but when I watch someone like Man City and I watch Phil Foden, you know, he wants that ball, and the first thing he wants to do is just take people on. And that's something that we do lack, someone that wants the ball. I always feel that when I watch Alvarez, Souček, and Ward-Prowse, as soon as they get that ball, all they want to do is get rid of it. They want to get rid of it to Paqueta. They want to get rid of it to Kudus. They want to get rid of it to Bowen. Instead of getting on the ball and going for them runs, a bit like what we used to see Joe Cole do when he first come through. You know, players like that, players that want to just get on the ball. And one player we have got, he doesn't play in the middle, but Ben Rama used to be like that. Ben Rama used to want the ball and just try to take people on. But that's one thing I think we're lacking in midfield, and obviously the striker-wise we are. And me and Scott were saying earlier, if we could do any sort of deal in January for Solanke, Danny Ings and some money, you know, I'd take Solanke. I think it'd suit our system.
I totally agree with Solanke.
See, we discussed this previous, I think, on the FMP that me, Dan and Brian did, and I said Solanke would be a good fit short term. He's not a long term thing. I don't see us winning the Europa League with a Solanke playing up front.
Well, we won the Conference League with Danny Ings up front.
Yeah. But that's just my opinion. I think he'll do fine. I think he would be a good fit for us. But
listen, mate, you're entitled to your opinion, and I agree. I wouldn't say if I had the choice, Solanke probably wouldn't be my first choice, but I'm just looking about what we could really attract in sort of January. You know, for me, I'd rather us break the bank and bring in an Ivan Toney or someone like that, but it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, look, mate, Ivan Toney's the perfect fit for our football club, but like we were saying earlier. I think he's eyes are somewhere else. We were saying we need is a player like Sacco. You know, a player that can play that. Yeah, Sacco used to play for us.
Yeah, man.
You know, a player of that ilk who can play that lone striker, who you know is going to run the channels, but he's also got a bit of strength about him to hold up the ball. You know, he's all with Sacco. We know like he had his issues, but overall, his all-round game was pretty good. He could play as up top on his own. He could play in a two. You know, and he had a lot of attributes that we would need now in a striker.
He was a natural goal scorer, wasn't he?
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing. I think that's what we've got to be going out there looking out for. That type of player.
But I just going back to last night, I just think like us keeping Son quiet, because Son always has a great game against us. I think he's got a really good record, 5 goals and 3 assists or something like that. But last night, seeing him on the bench in tears at the full-time whistle, give me a little bit of a big smile on my face, you know, because we kept him quiet. He didn't do nothing all game. But, you know, when he's on that pitch, something can happen. When they brought Richarlison on, you know, I was thinking to myself, oh, you know, he ain't scored for like whatever, how long. You always know. And then he has that header. And when that header goes wide, you know, and I just think we look so. It was a. I know it's a famous saying, a game of two halves, but it was a game of two halves because. And the thing is, and I did jokingly in the summer, I said that Postecoglou was the Aussie Steve Bruce, right? And he's a likable fella, and he's done really well. But now they've gone five without a win, and now he's turning around saying, "Well, no, we're still going to play that way. We're not going to change."
Yeah.
If we don't change and they keep losing, they're only going to go backwards. And I'm not saying he's not a good manager, but, you know, I think he might be a bit more overrated than what the media are giving him manager of the month 3 months in a row. I think that he might be a little bit overrated in that sense. But he's a lot. Look, don't get me wrong. He comes across well, and he's. I do like his style of football, but if he don't want to change and he wants to keep playing that high line, you're going to get caught out, just like last night.
He's. Do you know what he is? He's the new Bielsa.
Yeah,
the new Bielsa.
Yep.
I said this, and I've always said that he was overrated. Listen, it's a breath of fresh air to watch a team like Tottenham. As much as I hate Tottenham, but that completely played into Moyes' hands. Don't get me wrong, we was awful. That was the worst I've seen us first half. We couldn't get near them, and they was playing well. You know what I mean? And it was only luckily that everything seemed to come together last night. It was one of them ones where you start to think, hold on a minute, I'm starting to see what we're doing now. Because if you can cut out them defensive, look, the header was poor. I think Fabianski should have done a bit better. I think he should have been a bit more over. It was a floating header.
And I think he fell into the net, didn't he?
Yeah, but maybe he was expecting to go. I don't know. Maybe he misjudged it, whatever. I think Areola saves that. I'll be honest. I think Areola saves that because that's the sort of goalkeeper he is.
You know what, though, mate? I know. I agree with you. I think Areola saves that, but I don't think Areola does what Fabianski does for the rest of the
things.
game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, but then there's a couple of other chances where Areola might have fucked up. But to be honest, the ball coming off of Zuma, pinging off the post, was the big one because any other day that goes in, game over. We're not getting back in. If I'm honest, they probably go on and score another 2-3 goals. But at 1-0 half time, there was even how poor he was. There was times when I was thinking, they're talking about the Richarlison header. You got to think, Paqueta had one very similar.
Eddie missed that.
And it was poor, And I was saying to my brother this morning when he phoned me up, I said, if that's Souček on the back post here, he scores that.
Yep.
He doesn't take it with his head; he takes it with his foot, And I think he had enough time. He had enough time to chest it down, dust it off, fucking give it a kiss, and then put it back in the back of the net. That's how much time he had.
It was
But yeah.
surprising for him to go for a header. Do you know what I mean?
It was weird.
It was say that, Scott. He has scored a few
He has
headers.
scored a couple of headers,
Yeah. But you would have thought, like you said, in that position, the player that he is, he would have took a touch. You know, but
that was a very similar. That was a very similar chance to the one Richarlison had, which he, was a poor miss as well, just before Ward-Prowse scored. But I think second half, I've been saying in the last couple of weeks, is the Kudus coming into the side to sort of disrupt it a little bit, because we looked like we had a good balance at the start of the season.
Yeah.
But it's too good to leave out. Obviously, Antonio's been injured. It clicked last night for some reason. Them defensive mistakes that we're famed for, that we've been making week in, week out, mate. I've never seen players chuck their bodies in front of the ball like that. Yeah. Honestly, we seem to deal with everything. And it just absolutely, like, when you look at the Palace game, it was a game of two teams, who didn't want to lose the game, that didn't want to attack. It was shocking. We sat there and watched it on the TV. It was fucking awful. And it was another, individual mistake. But at 1-0 half time, I did think to myself, there's chances in this game that they're either going to take 2 or 3 more, or we're going to get back into this.
I just knew the way they played, mate, with their high line. I watched it against City, and I just knew we was going to get chances by getting in behind them. I knew we was going to have chances. I knew that we was going to get caught offside a few times, like Kudus in the first half. But I just knew that they keep playing like that, we will get the ball, and as soon as we get that ball and we get that, like, over the top, Bowen and Kudus will be on their toes, and that's exactly what happened.
That's the thing, and it said you even going back to the first half, the chances that we did have, is it poor by Kudus to get caught offside in 2 times when he's looking across the line?
That was poor. That was poor.
the one that Soufal plays into him, and he was already 3 or 4 yards offside. He knocks wide. I think if he's actually times his run better and he's actually onside, he hits the target with that chance. I think because he was so far offside, that's why he's put it wide. And it is frustrating. You had the Souček chance. That was a great save by the goalkeeper, even though he was offside.
The volley,
that's the thing, and it's just frustrating because we see the potential there of that team.
Let's take some comments. Take some comments before we get onto this Jared Bowen conversation.
I just think as well that Alvarez had a quiet game last night. Souček had a quiet game, but they was both effective, breaking up the play. I think Alvarez does that quite a lot. And this is another thing me and Scott said earlier. I think because Souček's had such a great start to the season, Alvarez is going under the radar a bit. That it doesn't look like he's being effective, but he is. He does break up play, and he's good to just have. There's a good balance in midfield now.
Why Scott's getting these comments up? Kudus leaving in January, Antonio to take over. Kudus can't leave in January. He's played for 2 clubs.
No, he's on the African Nations Cup, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he does go to the
That'd be interesting.
We lose him, Aguirre,
Benrahma, Kudus,
and Kudus,
Cornet, potentially.
Who?
Well, it doesn't matter. He don't play anyway.
Right, ready? Steve WHU Bell, Nicky, have you lost that shirt or what?
No, I haven't lost it. No, I found it. I did lose it, but I found it again.
Gary 4479. Sorry to be negative, but Kufau is the weakest link out of his depth.
I disagree with that totally. I thought he was all right.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
The chances he's creating, the crosses he puts in. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's got long left in him, Soufal. No, I don't think he's got long left in him. Like, we could get an upgrade up, but he's definitely not out of his depth. No way.
The one thing with him, he'll give you everything. And sometimes that's all you need. Happy Amaret, they showed true fight in the second half. Every player wanted it. Great to see. Red 5 said, all right, Steve, what day today was absolutely buzzing. Hustler Crow said a Spurs fan cast a spell.
I think you said about when the camera fell off a couple of times.
Nick, have we got another link? Someone just said that there's 2. I think there's 2 links for tonight's show.
It might be the one that got chucked out of.
It was the one that crashed.
There's 23 people waiting on it.
Tell
them to leave.
Type in their leave. It's you know, I'll try and delete it actually.
No,
Great
don't just
27
delete this one.
Great 27 OB said, still would like some backup down the left hand side. Dalster said, I don't know why we are delighted to see West Ham win and rub Spurs faces in it, thinking they're going to win the Prem until mid-season, where they bottle it. Credit the Hammers for exploiting their vulnerabilities.
I thought they won it in October, didn't they?
They did. They were saying stop the count or something like that, a bit like Southampton did. Let's hope Spurs end up the same way as them. Emerson was quality, very consistent too. Thomas says, happy anniversary, Ryan. We defo rode our luck, but finally started playing and pressing, which we need to do in every game, no excuses. Brendan Rodgers with the didgeridoo, you boys took a beating.
Brendan Rodgers with the didgeridoo.
He turned his own TV. Evening, gentlemen, evening, mate. Signal failure on N17 a day. It's a great pleasure.
Oh, they've all gone on the missing list, didn't they?
Oh,
Laugh
well,
my
I ain't
bollocks
heard
off.
from anyone.
Exactly. They've all gone walkies, mate. I gave it to my Spurs mate in my group chat last night. It was quality. Drano Hammer says, laugh my bollocks off at the Spurs.
That was pure banter, Scott.
Also, thought William Hill will take in the piss half time with an 11-1 cheeky fiver.
11-1,
bad-
mate. A
decent odds
1-0. Wow.
Decent
That would have
odds
been
there.
your Christmas talk if I'd seen that.
Miss C says, Mr. H, this is what makes Friday nights the best. Anything unexpected can happen and usually does. I think that's where your phone's flipping over. Matty Lawless. Hello, Matty. 100% agree on Emerson. Work rate and performances have been consistent, very good so far this season. I think Sufeld deserves some credit too. And fair play to Nicky's camera clip for playing tribute to the falling Pacatar. Top shit, however, by a Brazilian Magnifico, who really turned up in the second half.
No, I agree. Do you know what? That's one thing we didn't mention. I was a bit worried last night when he went down injured and I see Fornals getting ready to come on early on. Because I think if Fornals comes on, we lose that game.
I'm with you.
I think we win that game.
No. Red 5 said, Moyes out 20 minutes, Moyes in 75 minutes. Do you know what? I think so many people were the same last night. At the Amaret says, Ariola should be fretting for his shirt, in my opinion. I'd sort of agree. I thought Fabianski done enough to warrant the start again at the weekend.
Ain't done nothing wrong.
No. Grave 27 says,
did anyone know why he was out?
He hurt his wrist.
Yeah, his wrist.
Yeah, think of that.
Wanking.
This is talking about what we were saying about Solanke. Solanke will be grand. Kev WHUFC, I would love to see more of Cornet. There's so much. I'm sure there's more to him. Reed Moyes not playing him. Problem is, if we don't look at replacing the fringe players with better players, we'll never improve the squad as a whole. The first 11 become complacent. Anthony Gordon is a prime example. He's so direct. Apparently, Nketiah is available for transfer. Matt Powell says, I wouldn't. For me, Nketiah is a no-no. And Ken Amber says, Broja on loan to buy for me. I think that's looking at who to come in.
I think Broja would be a brilliant signing for us. Or I do. I think he'd fit the way we play, and it'd be because he reminds me of a young Danny Ings, the way he plays.
Yeah,
and that's what we need. But we've got the old Danny Ings who runs with his head down.
Also, apparently, it's ligament damage for Ariola. He could be out for a while.
Right, going on the striker, along the striker theme, it takes into the next one. Bowen, he got his 50th goal last night. What a goal it was as well. He took that brilliantly, I thought. Smashed it in the top corner. 50 goals for Jared Bowen. He's been here since 2020. Cost us £25 million. Now, when you think about sort of investment and return, has he been our best ever signing? Not maybe not sort of academy player, but signing. Has Danny Ings.
Danny Ings.
Has Jared Bowen been our best ever signing?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I don't know. In the Premier League era, you mean
No,
because if you go back to I don't know, because what did we pay for Billy Bonds, something silly, and players like that, and Devonshire and all them sort of players. But in the Premier League era, I'm probably going to say, yeah, like pound for pound, I think he is. I just love Jared Bowen. I love his work rate, love his commitment, I love his passion. He scores good goals. He scores important goals. I think that's what is it 7 away games in a row now. He's scored in. You know, he comes up with some big goals in, as we know, in Prague. Like, I just love him. I just love him as a player, and I think that he doesn't miss much game time for us. And I think it was so crucial that he signed that new deal a couple of months ago, and I think it was massive for this football club. And I think that he's just going to be, like, obviously barring any injuries, touch wood, but I just think he's going to be around for a long, long time, and he's going to lead this club an absolute legend at this football club, because I just love watching him play. I love, and it's not often he has a bad game, and even when he does have a bad game, he still contributes in some way, whether it's a pass or a goal or something. So, but yeah, no, I just love him.
The thing is, like you said, it's hard. Is he the best ever? Probably not. Is he the best in the Premier League era? Yeah, potentially. I think he will.
Someone just said there, Di Canio for 1.75 million. Yeah, look, you can't argue.
But the thing is, right? You look at Di Canio, right? Di Canio was a class player, one of probably the best players that we've seen play live at the football club, right? But we didn't win anything with him. Do you know what I mean? You're looking at Bowen, who come in for the price that we got him for, and like you said, has scored many a key goal and an important goal. You know, probably the most important goal in this football club's history in the past 40 odd years. So you've got to look outside of just the players that are, you know, Canio was class. He was class. Canio was great, but we've done fuck all with him. We've done a lot more with Bowen than we have with anyone else. You know,
I do also think that I think it's different times as well. You look at, like, someone could come up there, Devonshire best signing for £5,000, but what was the record transfer fee then? Probably about £500,000.
Yeah,
you know, it's 25 million for what we paid for him. It seemed like a gamble, but he was, I think, by far the Championship's best player at the time. You know, playing for Hull, playing for his hometown club and all that. I think by far the best player in the Championship, was scoring goals for fun. A bit like Mikel was when we signed him from Forest, you know. And he cost £7.5 million. So there's an argument right there. Is he our best ever, sort of, like, not maybe best ever sign, but best ever Premier League signing for what we've got out of him, and sort of the versatility we've got out of him, the longevity we've got out of him. He's still playing now, you know what I mean? Like, but you know, there's an argument there. A lot of people coming up with Dawson, which, you know, you can't argue with us. And I said he was going to be our worst ever. You know, and then when you look at the likes of sort of Sebastian Haller for 50 million quid, Skamaka for 50 million quid, you know, they're proper wastes of money, you know. And I've got to say, you know, for what he's brought to the club, and I think the loyalty that he's shown with that, you know, especially with that sort of long-term contract sign, because a lot of people were saying, you know, earlier on in the season, it didn't look like he was going to sign a new contract, but he signed a long-term deal.
Well, no, it weren't that he wasn't going to say it, but all the in the nose said that he wasn't going to sign a contract. The content creators said he wasn't going to sign a contract. But just remember one content creator that done a video saying he was going to sign a contract. And I was called deluded.
We're all called
I'd rather be deluded than right, mate. Let's be honest.
Thing is, as well, like with Jared Bowen, is I thought he'd have been a great captain for us, and I was surprised that he wasn't even in the running for the armband when Rice left. But I'm not saying that Zuma's doing a bad job at it, but I just think that he's got so much love for this football club. And I know, obviously, you look at his personal life as well. You know, he's married into he's not married yet, but he's gone into a West Ham family. Just got all that connection with a football club. And I just think that Jared Bowen could go and play for any team in the Premier League. He could play for any of the top teams in the top four teams. He could go into City's team. He could go into Liverpool's team. I think that he would be the perfect replacement for Mo Salah. He's a Jurgen Klopp type player.
Yeah. That's the worrying thing when you look at it like that, because then it is coming down to money talks, and what the player wants, and again,
Scott, I just don't think he's got any interest in going anywhere else.
yeah. But
there's a comment here that could maybe explain it. And Alison says, I love Bowen, but do you think going out with Danny Dyer helps? And her dad, the fact he signed a long-term deal.
Nah, look, as I said, he's into a West Ham family now, but I don't think they would have made his decision for him. It might have been a little bit, but he's a football player at the end of the day. If Real Madrid would have come in for him, do you think he's going to stay? Do you think he's going to stay in East London because Danny Dyer is going to take him out to a bit of pie and mash? He's not. He's going to go to Real Madrid.
And that's the thing, mate. I think that it's just that I think the long-term deal was a good deal for him. It was a good deal for the club. It shows that what we discussed before about what seems to be happening now at this club, there seems to be a project. He has bought into what the project is, and that's why I think he signs that type of deal.
Yeah, because obviously Tim Stein and would have obviously played a big part in that. Mark Noble would have played a big part in that. Look, David Moyes loves him. David Moyes signed him. David Moyes gave him his opportunity. But whatever happens with David Moyes, whether he's going to be here next season or not, we don't know that yet. He probably ain't going to be. But he's got a good relationship with Moyes as well. And as I said, Moyes, whenever he talks about him, he's always. You don't hear a player or a manager or any of the coaches say a bad word about Jarrod Bowen, and that's a good thing. He works hard in training. He works hard for the team. Sometimes he will go missing during games, but you can't expect him to be playing 10 out of 10 every week in a team like ours that don't have a lot of the ball. So he's just a joy to watch, and honestly, he's been a great signing for us. One of the best in recent history, anyway. And
he works hard as well. His work rate's really good. And he's the thing with there's other players there that do put a shift in and do work hard, but with him, he's backing it up. His stats are backing it up, and that's the thing. He's buzzing with confidence at the minute, and going forward, it is that we could do something good this season. We've got the potential to do that. It's all January's going to be big for us. I think
there's a lot to play for in this season. I just hope that we don't get burnt out because we've still got to play 5 games before the end of December or before Christmas. Yeah. I really wish that we could stop now for a World Cup and have a break.
We do have a break over Christmas at some point, though, don't we?
A week, I think it is.
A week's break, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think there's one. Yeah, they do it like one set of Premier League games, and then they do
half and half, don't they? Yeah.
But, I just think that there's still a lot to play for this season. There's still a lot. We're what we now 4 points, 3 points off of Tottenham.
Yeah, and we're 3 off Tottenham, 6 off City,
6 off top 4.
Mad, mate.
Quarterfinals of the League Cup. We get a draw on Thursday. We win the group in Europe. It's a lot better than what a lot of people make out. You read some people's comments on Twitter and watch their shows, and that they act like we're bottom of the league, 20 points adrift, and we ain't scoring goals. And
listen, I think I got to hold my hands up, mate. I'm guilty of that as well.
I think it comes down to why people are a lot frustrated is the style of football. But if we had 95% possession and no points, what would you rather? What we've got now and how we're playing, or no points? And
this is the thing.
Hold on. We're going to transition into this because this is our next subject. But before we do that, we've got to take the comments as well. And I've got to mention the T-shirts, the Christmas jumpers and stuff on the store. I'm going to put this up here now. You can see, the range of sort of stuff that's on the store right now. You can go. There's a link in the description down below. You'll just get it in time for Christmas if you order it sort of now. So, I've got to mention that, like Christmas jumpers. You've got Christmas jumper days coming up and all of that. There's Kuda shirts shipping all around the world, but you've got to do it.
Nick, right, do you know that We Three Kings one?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Can I get one this year? Because 5 years I've been asking for that.
I gave you one.
And no, you never give me one. I'm going to order it, and you never do.
All right, I'll order it. I'll
And
order
can I have
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Can I have it in claret or navy, not some random yellow like you usually do with me? I always get the random colours.
All right, I'll order it. I'll order it.
Let's have our Christmas special, Christmas jumper special, Nick.
Yeah, we should have a Christmas dinner this year and put it on, pre-record it and put it on Christmas Day.
Oh, can we put Graham in the oven?
Yeah. We'll put him in the oven and keep the turkey
Like
out.
a big turkey. Yeah.
Or get him coming out of a massive Christmas cracker.
Scott, you know how close Graham and Scott are, so Scott can be the stuffing in the turkey.
I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to call him out as well on this show. Claret and booze. I've got to say this. You made a bet with me, my friend, about the fucking Arsenal game. I asked you for your size for the T-shirt. You never come back.
Yeah, no, Nick messaged me. He said, it's too cold now. Can you have a jumper?
I can get a jumper made, no problem. But you know what I'm talking about, Nick. You made a bet with me, mate, and you said you was going to wear this T-shirt. So yeah,
I love Nick. I love watching their show, man. They make me laugh so much. They are brilliant. Some of the stuff they come out with, they when I watch them, they just remind me of us. Like you got the way it's brilliant. I know they get a lot of stick, but I don't know. It's they're good people.
Scott, take the comments, please.
No problem, mate. No
Before we
problem.
move on to this bit.
This is going back talking about when we said best Premier League signing. Dawson has to be our best PL signing. Dan says they are. E20's own TV. Bowen been David Moyes' best ever signing, not the best though. Di Canio for 1.5 million is the best. Abby Amaret says I miss Big Dawson more than at 41. What about Manny? Steve W. Bell says. Alan Devonshire, $500,000, 50 grand, best signing.
$5
Paul
grand.
Walnut says Tevez.
50 grand. It was 5 grand. 5 grand.
Sorry, 5 grand. Payet also 10.8 million. Super chat here from Fortune's Fortune's hiding down under TV. Thank you very much, mate. Bowen is a throwback player, and the money we spent on him for the moments he has given us is worth it. Always love watching you guys. Have done for years. Keep up the good work. Cheers, mate. Ginger Carroll. Going back to Nicky's original statement, the goals return ratio in a short period of time has to be definitely one of the best signings on that basis. And Alison says, I love Bowen. Oh, no, sorry, we've already had that one. Apologies. Matt Powell, Bowen signed from Hull. He played for Hereford before then. Drano Hammer says, Ryan, I think he is better than Salah as Bowen tracks and tackles back. Kev WHUFC, Bowen 50 goals, impressive stat. Klopp was interested in apparently. Dan says Hartson and Kitson, best signing ever. Harry done a good there, kept us up that year. To be fair, when we spoke to Johnny Hartson before, if what happened didn't happen with him and Berkovic, I think he would have gone on to be a bit more of a club legend. Nick from CMB was so was so funny last night, like watching Mr. Bean's opinion on football.
CMB.
I think you've got like Mr. Bean's opinion on football.
Hey?
No, you.
Me?
Go on, keep
Me?
man. Yeah.
No, that's it. Done.
Oh, that's it. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah, no, one more. Sorry, didn't see this one. Ashton would have been our greatest ever striker if he had stayed fit. Sorry.
Ashton wouldn't have been at West Ham. He'd have been at Man United. 100% he'd have signed for United.
Yeah, it would have been the year after that.
He was the perfect striker for Alex Ferguson.
Oh, massively.
100% he would have gone to United.
What
Do you know what as well, though?
When did he get injured? 7th?
When?
Yeah, what year?
Yeah, we signed him in 2006, didn't we? So he missed the majority of 07. I think he left in 10. He retired in 10, didn't he? Because he played for England in 2010. That's when he got injured.
Right,
or 2009, it might have been.
So do you think, right? I think this is maybe a sliding doors moment, right? Because I thought Ashton was brilliant. He was one of the best players I think about centre forwards I've ever seen. Like in terms of he had everything. Yeah. If he does, Scott's fell over. If he doesn't get injured, yeah, does Harry Kane go on to have the career he has with England? Because he was only about 26, wasn't he, when he got injured, Kane?
Yeah,
Sorry,
but Harry Kane didn't start playing for England until what, 2016 was it? So he might have been
15.
Ashton might have been nearly retiring by that time. So
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
If Ashton had stayed fit, mate, he would have been England's record goal scorer. Easy. That guy had everything.
But I'm just saying, like the sliding doors moment. Does because what's Kane now? 33, 32?
No, yeah, 31.
What is he?
yeah, he's early 30s, isn't he?
So
30s.
what we talking about? He's been playing for England for sort of.
I think Euro 2016 was his first tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
30, he's 31. So he's 31. So he's 31, right? So I was saying, if Ashton would have stayed fit, never got injured, would Kane have gone on to be playing for England like he is now?
Yeah, because
All
Ashton
right.
would
That's
have
the
been.
argument I had to end then. Thanks for that, Scott.
Yeah, but Ashton would have been coming towards retirement by the time Kane comes in.
No, it'd only be about his age, what he is now, maybe a bit younger.
He's my age, and he's 39. He's just
Ashton,
turned 40. He's just turned 40, I think. So he'd have been 30.
Yeah, so if you're talking about, I don't know, fuck no, who cares anyway?
Who cares anyway?
Yeah, exactly. If that would have stayed, Kane wouldn't be what he is by now. Says Hawaiian Hammer. But yeah, listen. Going into the next subject anyway, because we've got to start wrapping it up. Excuse me. Are we doing better than we thought we are? Ninth in the table. It doesn't look great. We've had some bad losses, quite a few in a row as well. But when you look at the table now, and the likes of City, we're only 6 points off City, who's sitting in 4th place. We're 3 points off of Tottenham, who's sitting in 5th place. We're up there. Aston Villa have been fantastic this season. They're sitting in 3rd, but we're up there. In terms of the points and stuff. Have we gone too early, like some of us? Have we started whinging too early? Is the expectation?
Our fan base half our fan base wanted to give up after the Bournemouth game, opening game of the season. I think, like when you look at it, as I said, you look what you read there, 9th in the table, 6 points off of 4th. A couple more wins and we're in the mix. Couple more defeats and we're not in the shit. But as I said it ages ago, we're not going to get relegated this season. We're going to be
at this point in the season. We've got our best ever return in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. Our best. Another stat that David Moyes can add to his CV. Our best return after 15 games in the Premier League. I think that there are a lot of fans that do go over the top. I know David Moyes ain't everyone's cup of tea, but sometimes the grass is not always greener. And I think that it won't be until David Moyes leaves the football club that even his haters will appreciate what he done. And I'm not sitting here saying, I want David Moyes is the man that takes us forward. I think we're ready for a new manager to come in next season. But if he did stay on, I'd obviously still get blamed because you don't know what he's going to do this season. Say, for instance, if we end up finishing in European spots and we win the League Cup. Let's just say that, what would you do then? You go, oh, hang on, he's won 2 trophies in 4 years. Like, sometimes I think that even if you hate him, you have to give him a little bit more respect.
But this is what I've said all along. Yeah, look, I'm not his biggest fan. Some of the football that we play is dross. Let's be honest, it's fucking dross, right? But you've got to respect, and as I said, that you can't moan when you're winning. I think you can criticize. I think it's fair to criticize, but going back to some of the content that you see, it's just like it doesn't stop. It's relentless, and I don't know. It's that sort of thing. I think you've got to give. If you're going to criticize as much, you've got to give the flowers when they're due. You know what I mean? Like when, like last night, like. You don't go quiet. A lot of people went quiet after last night. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to slag him off, at least and then pipe up when he's doing all right, because that was a masterclass last night. Yeah, say when it's not working, but then be ready to be honest and be truthful and say that it did work, and give him the praise, because praise is just as important as as criticism. But
Yeah, look,
yeah,
I mean,
it's got to be said. It's got to be said. Like, even me, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I think I get a little bit blinded by it all. I'm not the most. Some guy said there. Yes, it's too much for him. Like, and your man Dan's the best. Yeah, he's just as bad as fucking me. And but I'm not too proud to stand here and say, look, when it works, it works. And like, there
This is
is
what
times when you have to give him praise.
you can't
look,
always.
yeah,
Go on.
go on, mate, go on.
No, I was just saying, you can't always be negative towards someone. You've got to give them. We do it with players. There's certain players that people jump on the back of and stuff like that. But look, we all criticise players when they perform badly. But then if you criticise a player, you've got to then turn around and say, well, he had a great game today. You've got to be fair.
Yeah.
Go on, man.
Yeah, and I'm the same, mate. There's been times where I've criticised players, but I criticise them on a game-to-game basis. If Bowen has a bad game Sunday, I'll criticise him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mean that I hate him. I've got nothing personal against him. But the thing is with David Moyes, look, I like David Moyes. I think that what he's brought to the football club on and off the pitch, I thought he's brought a lot of stability to this football club. And when you look about what went on before him, Pellegrini era was shit.
Yep.
Bilic's second season was awful. That's why he got the sack.
Yeah.
It's sometimes you just have to look and think, is it as
Where
bad
we were before?
Yeah, is it as bad? Like, the next manager that comes into this football club is obviously going to be left with a lot better than what David Moyes picked it up.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. We're going to have a better squad. Look, David Moyes, I think, will be going at the end of the season, and I want him to leave this football club on a high. I want him to be like, if you ever see him in the future, you could shake his hand and say, "Oh, thank you for what you've done at West Ham," which I think a lot of people will do. I think even the people that say they hate him secretly do like him a bit.
I think hate's a very strong word, because there isn't much to hate about him. Is he stubborn? Yeah. He's won us a cup. He's stabilised the club. He's given us an identity. Even though some of us don't agree that it's the right identity, he's given us an identity. I'm being honest, right? And I'm going to be totally honest. Look, I'm Moyes neutral. I respect him so much, and I love him so much. I feel guilty for last season, but I thought he was going to take us down. And I respect him. I love him. I've loved his time here. I can't say I've had a better time as a West Ham fan than when he's been here. Look, it's not always been fun to watch, but it's been effective.
I think you stopped smiling in Prague, Nick.
No, mate. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, best night of my life there. Couple of great seasons. 2 massive European campaigns, and perhaps, who knows, maybe a third. But I do believe there is more to come out of this squad, and I think a different approach to it. The thing that annoys me about it is that, you look at last night, even the Chelsea game and all that sort of thing, and you get them massive wins against these clubs, and you think to yourself, yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. But then you look at the fucking Brentford game, like, chucking it away, down the pan there. Look at the Everton game. We're just approaching the games in the same light. And I think sometimes there needs to be adjustments there, because if we get the Brent, it's all well and good beating the Tottenhams and the fucking Chelseas and all that sort of thing, but get the Brentfords and the Evertons and the Palaces right, we'd be a third in the league where Aston Villa are.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But when you look at it, this is where he does come into criticism. Go all the way back to Bournemouth. His negativity in his attitude to the game of trying to see out the win cost us the 3 points. We know your point. Everton, that game, by all accounts, from what you've all told me, it was 2 teams that didn't want to attack, just didn't want to concede a goal, and we go on to lose.
The Palace game. It's the same as the Palace.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. You can't. That is where you look at Moyes, and that's his downfall, because you'll get certain people that will remember them results. And at the end of the day, look, yes, football's meant to be entertaining, but it's a results-based business. And at the end of the day, if you win playing crap football, but you're winning week after week after week, you're getting trophies. So I'd rather be winning playing shit football than being entertained and getting beat. That's
No,
how I look at it.
no,
I mean,
I am totally with you there. I am totally
it's
with you there.
gonna
But
be. Go on, go on.
no, go on, mate. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, E20 said we can't win them all, though, but you should be. You should be winning them ones. I'm afraid. Like, you know, we're in good stead. We've got good players. Like, you can't win them all. You're not entitled to win them all, but there's ways, and I think we've got the players and the ability to be able to beat them teams, to find a different way to beat them teams. You know, that Palace game was dross, and Harry's waited to the 89th minute to even make a change there. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
But
you can't win them
that's what
all.
I'm saying. The stubbornness and the negativity that he does have in how he approaches games, that does cost us points sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 100%. Go on, what was you going to say, mate?
Yeah, no, I was just saying it's going to be an interesting conversation to see like who West Ham are going to go and get. You know, there's obviously names linked in that, but you know, I think that there's a manager already there in the Premier League that is ready for this football club. I think that West Ham, if I was West Ham now, because I know that he's in contract talks at the moment, I would be all over him, and that's De Zerbi for Brighton. I think that, and this is no disrespect to Brighton, West Ham are a bigger football club. You know, you chuck money at him, Tim Stein gets him in. I think he could be perfect for West Ham. And I think that he is someone that we could prize away from Brighton. Now, Brighton might say, oh, look, we're in Europe. Listen, it's their first time they've ever been in Europe. I'm not saying they're not a big football club, but there's a reason why they lose all their best players and their big players, you know. And I think that someone like, if West Ham are serious about taking this club forward, you know, I know we're linked with Xabi Alonso as well. Can't see that one happening. I think Roberto De Zerbi would be brilliant for this football club. And if there's any way that we could get him in the summer, I'll be in talks with him now. I think that, and people saying he's waiting for a big, like he wants a big job. West Ham is a big job. West Ham is a massive job. Don't ever underestimate the size of this football club. You know, we are a massive football club. And with the right money, the right manager, with these players, and he plays attacking football, he plays the football that we all want. We all want to see. 100% get him. And when people say to me, but what about Will Still? Will Still is being linked with a Sunderland job. You know, that's the sort of level he needs to do. Just because he plays Championship manager and wore a West Ham shirt, don't make him a great manager and what we need. Whatever manager comes in is going to be a huge gamble. I know that, but he's just someone that I would love to see at his football club.
Fees for us, I think, to go. The only way we go forward is we need someone who's a bit more dynamic, who will use the attacking players a bit better than Moyes does. You know, who's not scared to change the system up now and again. You know, to suit the players, to suit the opposition that we're playing. You know, like we said, we've got one of Brazil's best players, and we're playing him out of position. You know, we're not getting the best out of him, and I think this all does boil down to how Moyes knows he has to slot Kudus into the side, but doesn't want to take Souček out the side. And to be fair to Souček, he's put performances in. He's got his key goals this season, and he's warranted to be in his place. So it's just finding that manager that could potentially take a team of, right, well, this game, I need Souček in the middle to battle it out with alongside Alvarez and Ward-Prowse. And then go into another game. Well, we can tweak the system a bit. We can put Souček out. We ain't going to need him for this one. We'll play Paquetá as a 10, you know, that type of thing. And that's what we need to see. And we don't see that enough from Moyes. Moyes is this is how we do it. It works. And it does work. But it's just sometimes we just think, like the Bournemouth game, like the Palace game, like the Everton game, where tinker with your system a bit, be a bit more brave in your thinking. You may go and get yourself a game.
Moyes is a bit like that era, like Big Sam, and they're all safe managers. They just don't want to lose football games, and they'll do whatever they have to do. They play the most boring football, but as long as they're getting results, because as fans we want to be entertained, we want to go there and watch good football. But for managers, they just need the result. If they win 1-0 every week, you know, what do they give a shit?
Yeah,
you know, and that's the way football is, because in football, you're only one defeat away from losing your job. You know, so they want to win. Like it's like with Nottingham Forest, Steve Cooper. They've come out and said they're giving him the game at the weekend. What's the point of that? Because now he's under pressure. If he wins against Wolves, what does that mean? They're going to give him a new 5-year deal, or he's just going to be game by game now. I don't like it when owners say that. If you don't want him, sack him, get someone else in.
I think that'd be mad to get Cooper, to be honest with you, Forest, because listen, what was their expectation? And
that is it, mate.
I can't see them being dragged into it. I think there's too much shite there, if I'm honest.
The thing is, as well, it's their second season now. They've signed so many players during the. He's never really had a settled team, has he? Because he's got about 650 players to choose from every week. Yeah. You know, every time I see a starting lineup for Nottingham Forest, I think, when did they sign him? I didn't even realize. I didn't even realize they signed Divock Origi.
Yeah.
I couldn't even remember when they signed him. Like, it's just it's mad.
And that's the crazy thing, mate. They've got so many players, and they're just signing players willy nilly
They're only 4 points off the drop, though.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can't go in with that scattergun approach. You know, we were testament to that years ago. You've got to have a plan, and we look like we've got a plan now.
Thunderlips in the flesh says, "I can't believe you guys are still talking about replacing Moyes.
Well,
it's got to be replaced at some point."
Yeah, we're only talking about it because I think it's been made public that they're not going to renew his contract at the end of the season. So we're just, as I said, if they continue with him next season, he still have my support, 100%.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you.
Absolutely.
At the end of the
day,
Scotty, I was going to say, no. At the end of the day, with Moyes, mate, he's got potential again. You know, like we said, come January, we could be in a semi-final of the League Cup, through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, back in the FA Cup. You know,
fruit of the loom, mate.
Look at the quadruple could be on.
Oh, right, Scott, get the comments done and we're going to wrap it up.
Roy Wilson says, yes is the answer, moaning too much, and your man Dan is worse. Sorry, you already read that one out. Sorry, mate. Try and take them out when you've read them. Paul G says, Claret Blues were happy last night to praise him wholeheartedly, to be fair. That's good. That's what you want to see. Kev WHUFC, agree, Nicky, some Joss football, but credit Moyes, he goes for cup games. Remember, Allardyce didn't even try or care about the cup games. Fair point now.
Can't we get David Moyes for cup in Europe next season if we get it? He seems to have it down with the European games.
Yeah. Paulie Walnut says, yeah, he's getting the job done even if it ain't pretty. Steve WHU Bell says, bloody hell, are you re-signing, Nicky?
Is that say resigning or resigning?
Don't know.
Resigning.
Oh, there we go.
Both the same, aren't they?
Yeah. Bit of season to go in the late 90s. This is the best period I've witnessed. Look back at this time with envy, I reckon. Moyes has done more for this club in recent years than any other manager we have had in the last 10, but I may be looking at this from an historical point of view from the old greats. I think what that comment's bang on. You know, you've only got to look at the stats. The win ratio that Moyes has got in the Premier League is the best we've had in the Premier League. You know, he's been better than.
Also, Scott, I think that might be a bit deceptive, though, and I'm gonna throw the cat amongst the pigeons here because I think he's had more money and more resources than any other manager.
I wouldn't say that, mate. I wouldn't say Pellegrini. Pellegrini had money.
Yeah, but he didn't have as much money as Moyes.
No, but Moyes has been here for.
Pellegrini spent nearly 200 million.
Yeah, Moyes has been here a bit longer. Yeah, you go look at let's be honest. You go look at the Redknapp era where he had money given to him.
No, fuck off. Get on with these comments now because you're pissing me off.
He signed some players. He signed some good. But he signed a lot. Redknapp.
Who?
He signed some good players.
He signed some good ones, but no, don't tell me he had the money. Right, come on now.
Yeah, but it's different eras. Like you think that I remember when we fucking paid 5 million for Don Hutchinson, everyone nearly fell over because we broke our record. 5 million. 5 million quid, Scott.
Yeah, but you got to
think players can't even get a pair of boots for £5 million these days.
2006 or 7, we signed Ashton for 7 million. That was our record signing. Then Bellamy.
I remember when we spent 10 million on Jarvis. That was the first time we broke double figures.
Paulie says, I'm not really bothered about fan criticising him. It just makes me cringe when any fan types manager name out. Grown adults actually do this. Steve WHU Bells 4.99 super chat. Cheers, mate. FMP live, lads.
You know what the best thing was? It was a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, when Nicky was having a massive rant about Moyes, but he had a Moyes Hire t-shirt on. I think that was the best one.
Right. Is it anyone want to answer that question?
What, FMP live? Yeah,
It fell through. We was going to do it. It fell through.
We was going to do one in November, but we couldn't get it all sorted, and it was too short time. So we are going to do one for March. We're looking to do it in March because it's an international break, and England play on the Saturday, so the Friday night's free. So it'll be Friday night in March. Gives us more time, be a little bit warmer, more time to organise, more time to invite people down, and yeah, we'll just get on the lash again. And just, so March. We're looking at March.
Sounds good to me. Sounds
March.
good to me.
I'll be 40 by then.
I'm doing a dry February. So I'm not having a dry January, I'm having a dry February.
Why are you doing it in January?
I've already got things planned for January, so
it's got 6
that's how we all break our New Year's resolutions, because you get to because like January 1st ain't a Monday. I got to start on a Monday.
Eric Jones says Moyes is good for us, but he's nowhere near the level of top Premier League managers. Kev WHUFC. When I saw Moyes with his dad on the pitch, putting his medal around his neck and dancing on the pitch, I bloody loved it. I'm really happy for him. Don't understand anyone that hates him.
I agree. I think that like that moment when you see what it meant to Moyes, you know, you see what it meant to everyone, but there was a bit of where I think everyone, even if you was Moyes out, you looked at that moment and you was happy for him because he's had a long career, hasn't he, David Moyes?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, yeah.
Definitely. By the way, Friday Night Pint is in March. If I didn't mention it, March.
We've still got the Ashton event in February, haven't we? As well.
Did you read this comment, Scott?
Yeah, sorry. Paul G, 4.99 super chat. Cheers, mate. Why do people compare us with past years? Finances, infrastructure, completely different now. Stop looking back. In Cricket United, I'm looking forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to say this before we wrap up, mate. Check out Martin Hobbs on thingy. We got our medals. Do you remember when we got our medals from Martin Hobbs memorabilia? He's just done a signing with Lucas Paquetá.
Mm-hmm.
And I see like a video of him, and I'm telling you what, mate. I think I'm eyeing a couple of them shirts up, if I'm honest. But there we go. Yeah, go and check that out, man. If you want any Lucas Paquetá Brazilian shirts and that, go and check him out on Twitter. But he didn't ask me to say that, by the way. I was just looking at them all, and I was looking like it's got some good pieces there. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fans.
Hang on, Nick, answer this one. Is the event still going ahead with Ashton in Feb?
Yeah, the Brewdog Pub, Dean Ashton, in February, which is before March when we're doing Friday Night Pint Live.
In other words,
but that's not our event. That's not our event.
It's the Brewdog event. You have to go on to the Brewdog. If you go on to Brewdog's Instagram or Twitter, or if you go on Eventbrite, the link's on there. Night with Dean Ashton, hosted by us again. After the success of the James Collins night, we have been invited back. With Dean Ashton in February, the month before March, when we do FMP Live in March.
So, in other words, I'm not doing a dry February, am I?
God, you're not doing dry nothing, mate. You say you're going to do this, you're going to do that. You ain't going to do it. If you want to drink.
The last one, so you might be able to do dry February because you didn't turn out to the last one. So
yeah, that's true.
That's
true. I did have other circumstances going on at the time, you know.
If you don't want to drink, don't drink. If you want to have a drink, drink. Why have you got to do this dry? So you have a dry February, but you've got 11 months to get pissed after the rest of the year. What's the point?
I don't see the point.
You're not an alky. You can control it. Just enjoy yourself. Anyway, you can have more in March when we do Friday Night Live.
Hey, mate, if anything's like if we're anything like the last one, God, we'll be staggering out of wherever we have it.
What?
I don't know what you just said there. I got a clue what you just said there.
I said if it's anything like the last FMP Live, we'll be staggering anywhere. You know, we were in a bad way.
You need to do December, mate. You sound pissed already.
Oh, don't.
And there we go. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fans Friday Night. Fan TV's Friday Night Pint Live. It's been great to be back, to be honest. We have enjoyed it again.
Yeah.
We haven't been on here in
We
a long
won't,
time.
we won't talk about Sunday's game.
Shit, I forgot about Sunday's game, if I'm honest.
Don't worry about it. We'll win.
Maybe someone will have a preview out tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Scott, forgot what a preview is. Here he goes. Look, I can see the excuses running around his head.
I'm busy,
Yeah,
boys. You know I'm busy.
I
You know I'm busy.
100% forgot we was playing on Sunday because it was obviously so close to the other one. But yeah, I'll get a preview out for Sunday's game then tomorrow. But thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. I will be back doing fan cams this week. Very difficult to do them over the past few weeks, as you know. But we will be back doing fan cams after the Fulham game on Saturday. So Sunday, please look out for them. And we'll be back next week. Thank you very much for joining us. One thing left to say. On your irons.
Come on, your irons.
Oh, good.